yeah, let's rock and roll.
Yeah. And you look very bright and shiny as well in this bright
I
color.
know.
Very nice.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very nice.
today is the day and we're gonna rock it. I'm very
And I
sure.
don't know if you noticed or not, Heike, but today Munir and I were color coordinating in the blue and yellow.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Maybe later I will quickly disappear and try if I can blend in with you two guys.
Okay, that's excellent.
Challenge
We will have
taken.
to do that.
Challenge
And I mean,
taken.
if we're really on this role of color coordination tomorrow, we can already decide what color we want to wear. Mike, are you in?
Yeah,
To be
I
honest,
think that would be brilliant.
yeah, to be honest, I know what Heike is capable of. So in a blink of an eye, she can just disconnect, come back, and okay.
It's all like all color coordinated with you guys.
So choose the color for tomorrow then, Heike. Maybe Mike will participate as well. Mike is looking.
Yeah, Mike, what is your favorite color for tomorrow?
Oh, this is it. I'm a pink kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
Pink.
Pink.
Oh.
Easy to do. I'm in for pink.
I have to, I really don't think I have anything pink
No
in my
way.
wardrobe. Yeah.
Oh.
What does it matter? I
Blue's
can
my
always
second.
wear blue is your second. Okay, well, so
Blue.
pink and blue. There we go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Pink and blue it is. Oh,
I think
Christina
we
is
can.
also here. Hi, Christina.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Hi from Switzerland.
Hello.
Hi, Katrina. It's
Hey.
good. It's
Hello, Alexandra. How are you?
good to
Fine,
see
thank
you.
you.
Hi.
But
Wait,
let me
look.
arrange. I have to arrange
Yeah.
this. I
What's
think.
wrong with
Voilà,
you
like
today,
this.
Alexandre?
Voila.
Up.
Yes.
Voilà. Now it's arranged. How are you? Fine.
Yeah,
Very
all
well.
good, all very well. And it's glad to
Thank
see you,
you.
Christina. I'm glad you fixed your camera. Now we can see you.
Yeah, you see, huh?
Excellent. So we have
Yes.
lots of joining as well.
Oh.
And we can officially start now. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. There will be definitely more people joining as we speak. So we are now hosting BizzMatcher Accelerator Conference Day 3, dedicated to agri-tech, prop tech, and green tech. So a couple of startups who were not able to join us for their pitches the previous day were actually allocated some time to come. We slided them in today so that we give them a chance to pitch today. So they will be joining our
Excellent.
current startup who are planned. So my name is Munir Bomani. I'm the CEO and founder of Signature Network based in Dubai, a international platform, proudly international, dedicated to high net worth networking events and matchmaking events. So without any further ado, I'm gonna pass the microphone to our moderator and angel investor from Pakistan, Samar Hassan.
Hello, hi everyone. So lovely to see some familiar faces and people who were there in the room but were refusing to show us their faces, like Christina. So thank you for turning on your videos. It's
You're
always
very
nice.
welcome. You see, you have to hide for 2 days to become special. I've got
There you go. See, there you go. No, come on. And we always have less women representation, right? So it's very lovely to see, women always. I think we add the color to the room, even though Mike is wearing pink and trying to do that. But anyway, so it's been fantastic 2 days. We've had around 15 startups or so, maybe 15 plus.
Yes, 16 startups, 16 startups, and already 8 matches. So very good rate for the investment rate.
So
great.
for the ones who are presenting today, that's great news. So we've had 8 matches in the last 2 days. So hopefully today is going to be your day as well. We do have Stefano. He was doing a test just recently. So finally, oh yeah, now he's smiling. Okay. So guys, have fun as well, right? That's the important message for today. So try and have fun in your pitches. Try not to exaggerate on, the whole working. We are obviously interested, but try and spend some time about the investment that you're looking for and how you're planning on utilizing that investment. That is really useful. And the return on investment is also very, very important. So the number crunching, it does matter today. Other than that, we noticed yesterday that we had a huge improvement in the pitching style as well. So we had some storytelling as well. Day one, we didn't have any storytelling. Day 2, we had some. So again, if there is a story, you want to go into the rationale of why you started. That is something that always stays with people. And best of luck.
Thank you, Samar. And yes, very well pinpointed. Yeah, we have more storytelling. Yesterday, which makes it, easier for investors, advisors, and anyone in the audience to remember, and for the entrepreneur to be remembered. So that's great. That's such a great improvement, and we are very proud of our startups that they're listening to our guidance. Listening to our audience guidance, to the words and comments and remarks from our illustrious board of advisors here, Heike, Christina, Mike, Alexandre, so and just to name a few. So it's great. So just to move on, we would like
Code
to
of conduct?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the code of? Do you want me to insert about the code of conduct?
The code of conduct will start once we will host the first startup. But before, I would like to give the mic to Mohammed Bali, if he's around, CEO of Penny Apple Middle East, our charity partner, to raise the awareness about donations and the multiple action that is undertaken in the region.
Hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Mohammed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There is
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is good today. Thanks, Munir. Thanks for your invite and for making Penny Apple your charity of choice. I'm Mohammed Bali. I'm CEO of Penny Apple Middle East, based in Dubai. It's really a great honor for me to be part of this event and in every event to come and talk about our charity and to create some awareness about what we do. So Penny Apple is a UK-based organization, and we were established in 2009. We have expanded our work and our presence to Canada, Australia, South Africa, and of course, Dubai. We also work in over 35 countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, and as well as Latin America. Our work is around responding to emergencies and disasters, but also we support local communities in education, water and sanitation, as well as healthcare. And we also, our aim is to really support local organizations, this to help them build their own capacity and to become agents of change themselves. As you can imagine, most recent weeks and months has been Lebanon was the focus for us and for many other NGOs. We have responded by sending team there, distribution of food, non-food items, helped some families in helping them to rebuild or to refurbish their homes, and the work is ongoing. We were working there before. I was there in March, just before the lockdown, and situation even then the economic situation was quite tough. And with the COVID and with this current event, it's even worse. So the work is still ongoing, and we really thank you for your support and for being our sponsor through your event. And hopefully, I wish all the best to the candidates today. So I don't want to take more of your time. Thank you very much, Munir, again, and thanks to your team. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mohammed Bali, CEO of Penny Apple Middle East, our charity partner. We are moving on with Leila Derez, the project director of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I hope she's around. I think so. And I would like her to give few words about her actions here in the United Arab Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Third day running now. I mean, Munir never does anything in small portions. I go to a lot of events, it's a one-off, but whenever Munir calls, I'm like, Leila, block your whole week off, because that's how long it's going to take. But I think it's just sentiment to the commitment that Munir and his fantastic team have to, as I've said over the last coming into 3 days, building and strengthening the startup ecosystem here as well as on the global platform. Over the last 2 days, we've heard some fantastic pitches from startups from different sectors. Looking forward to hearing the startup pitches today. The energy is amazing. The commitment is fantastic. And that's only down to people like Munir. And as I said, everyone who's behind the scenes that we don't get to see, but I know because I do events, so I know the machine engaged and involved in putting these things together. Dubai Chamber of Commerce, as we all know, is trade entity here supporting the protection, development, and growth of the business community here in Dubai, as well as encouraging businesses from around the world to come, and our doors are open and do business. And startups are, you know, the beginning of it all. So it's fantastic, as I said, again, to be here. If anybody is interested in reaching out to our Dubai Startup Hub, which specializes in supporting startups here as well as outside, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or any other form. And I look forward to hearing the proceedings of today. Thank you. Good luck, everyone. And yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Munir. Thank you.
You're always welcome, Leila, Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's move on to, I would like to introduce you to Christina Glassen, who has not got the chance so far to, you know, to show herself and to speak about her initiatives and about her business. She's based in Switzerland, and I believe she's going to bring a lot of added value to our startups. Christina, if you can just unmute your microphone and talk about your actions and your business.
Sure. So I do business advisory for startup and established businesses, and my services are for founders, entrepreneurs, and investors. So I'm more than glad to share more information later on. It comes now very unprepared, so I didn't know that I will introduce myself. I was just relaxing here in my, you know, chair and was like, okay, let's listen and enjoy. But now Munir just woke me up. So what I do is I set up my first business in IT when I was a student in the university. And since then I did many different roles, and I had a very successful business in technology. And then I developed from the IT side to business side. So the beauty side of this development is that when I'm talking and working with entrepreneurs and startups, I can cover the technology side, the business side, and the people management side of any business. And this is absolutely brilliant for my people, because they don't have to reach out to 3 different parties, you know, to ask first on technology advice, and then on business advice and people management advice. They can just come to me and I can support them and cover it. And I speak 3 languages fluently: German, English, and Russian. And I love to travel. I love to be everywhere. And I'm now all the time. So I'm like for Plug and Play, I'm a mentor. For WeWork, for all the leading startup organizations. I'm on the mentorship and advisory program where I support startups. I just feel people deserve support. And from what I've seen so far, what you have brought here, Munir, it's absolutely brilliant. And we need more initiatives like this, where the people are coming together. It's like a familiar environment, it's my opinion. At the same time, you bring the professionals from the right places in one call, in one meeting, so we can connect, collaborate. And I reached out yesterday already to one of the startups I've seen, and we will see how we develop the collaboration. Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you, Christina. Thank you very much for your kind words. Let's move on to Khaled Budmar, representing ThreadShift. Is Khaled around somewhere? I saw his name on the list.
Yes, I am Munir.
Hey, finally.
I'm here, Munir. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. Hello, everybody. Marhaban, ahlan wa sahlan. Bonjour, guten tag, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about public speaking, and that's why I'm here. This is one of my expertise, and I'm going to have short amount of time. So to be respectful of the time, I'm going to kickstart in public speaking. And first of all, tell the startuppers, I see something in you. Isn't it something that you'd like to feel from investors, VCs, and whoever's watching your pitches today, guys, to hope that someone will see something in you? We are all unique. All startup ideas are unique. All teams are unique. We are like flowers with different petals, and we want to make sure that everyone will see the differences. However, the medium we are using here is for everybody the same, this video online conference tool. Therefore, how to make a difference, how to show your uniqueness, the beauty of and the value of your startup. This is what I'm going to try and show you by using public speaking tools. So first thing first, I'm sure everybody has got a best speaker in the world. So just think about, who is your best public speaker? Is it Barack Obama? Is it Martin Luther King? Is it Tony Robbins? We all have best public speakers, right? And these guys actually have a special recipe to make sure that their speech touches the heart of the audience. That's the thing. But did you know that actually 75% of the world population has got a fear of public speaking, a fear of speaking in front of the audience, which means that probably 75% of the startups today have this thing that we call glossophobia, right?
Yes.
Therefore,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted you to mention the name of that illness because it's actually an illness, right? Glossophobia.
It is called glossophobia, right? And the glossophobia touches the 75%, which translates into a fear where people are shaky, they're afraid to speak in front of the audience, and sometimes they just don't turn up and disappear. Actually, public speaking is something that, guys, you can learn. It's a science. And I'm going to try and give you some tips today, right? First of all, why learning public speaking? It's a no-brainer today. We are in a society where everybody needs to speak, whether it's for a wedding, whether it's for pitching for an idea, or whether it's just in a friendly conversation, right? Public speaking is key. We had the example of Christina right now. She was coming just to lay down doing nothing, and she ended up speaking in front of everybody. That's public speaking. And one of the keys to know how to improvise. And improvisation has got a set of techniques as well. First, however, we're going to talk more towards prepared speeches, which is the objective of our pitch today, right? So what are the elements of a speech? A speech, first of all, or pitch needs to be written, needs to be rehearsed, and needs to be delivered. These three elements are keys. Written, how do you write a speech? How do you think about what you're going to talk about? Today, the startups are going to present their pitch, which means that they should know who is the audience, who are the people they're going to speak to, where are they from, what type of investors, what type of angels. They have to know their first P, which is the people. Second, they should be passionate about their product. If they're not passionate, it will show. Third, they should add their personal stories. And this is what we call the storytelling elements. The three P's are the basics for your pitches, guys. Make sure you put one of the three of these P's, all right? So passion, people, and personal stories. And I think time will be over, so I'll wrap up very quickly. In terms of speeching, there's lots of speech writing techniques. You can use mind mapping, that's the key to, and then you're gonna structure your pitch with the different elements that are required to convince your audience. Don't forget to use the body language because 80% of the speech goes through the body rather than the words. And once you use the words, use pauses, engage your audience by questions like I did at the beginning, and try to use nice words and like images and things that will be able to convey the message. My name is Khaled Budmar. I'm a passionate public speaker. I've been doing this for many years. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. Aside from that, I work for Trifecta, which is a global startup from Silicon Valley. So I know what startups are all about. Over to you, Munir, and thanks for the invite again.
That deserves a round of applause. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much, Khaled Budmar, for your very, very precious and insightful tips about public speaking, which is one of the most common problems that entrepreneurs have when it comes to, delivering, pitching about the ideas, about, explaining their business in public. It's very difficult to do. So thanks for raising the awareness, Khaled. Back to you. Let's move on back to Samar with the code of conduct before we host our first pitch, startup pitch.
Thank you very much, Munir. Thank you for day 3. I think 2 days we already highlighted, they were fantastic. Another thing, by the way, so Khaled talked about 3 things, right? So people, passion, and personal stories. So remember, there is power in 3 as well. So a lot of times when you're explaining your solution or you're talking about it, 1, 2, 3, it resonates, people remember. All right, okay, so basically code of conduct, you guys know already. Please keep yourselves muted so there is no disruption. Also, let's be sensitive to everybody. We're coming from different parts of the world. We're already challenged, by the way, because of COVID, or not so challenged because all of us are together, but let's be respectful of different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and so on and so forth. Other than that, so it is very important that you go through Signature Network for subsequent meetings with investors and everything. So Signature Network has put together this amazing conference. You do not want to be blacklisted, right? So just respect that as well. All right, so without much ado, we will jump into our first pitch of the day, which is going to be
Chanakia Sinha, representing
Connected Community.
So before
Hey, guys.
Chanakya, hi. Before starting Chanakya, just one more detail. Some startup are allocated 5 minutes. Some startup are allocated a little bit more based on the complexity of their business. So Chanakya, you have 6 minutes. We wish you all the best. And the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen. I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, hi, I'm Chanakya Sinha, and I'm speaking to you from Connected Community. I'd like to begin with two stories. Both are on opposite sides of the spectrum. So the first started 14 years ago. I lived in a very diverse community in Abu Dhabi, and one October, I led an initiative with the help of other kids to host a Halloween event. We printed flyers and we wrote instructions and distributed it to all over the community. And the day of Halloween, we had a great turnout. Almost all kids and parents participated. And 15 years later, that tradition is still taking place. Isn't that something? Our second story is a little bit more recent and not as nice as the first one. Last October, my electricity and water got cut out in the unit I was renting. This was in JLT Dubai, and I just could not understand why that was the case. So I spoke to my real estate agent, and he just kept giving me excuses that the landlord has not paid his dues, and I just couldn't understand why. A week later, I get a letter from my landlord asking me to vacate the premises. After speaking with him, I realized that our real estate agent had just gone away without giving him any of the checks, and he had duped not only me, but 100 other customers, and had left the country. I was still one of the relatively luckier ones. I only lost 1 month's rent and my deposit, but there were also others who lost a whole year's worth of rent. So this is what motivated me to create our startup. Our startup is called Connected Community, and we're empowering people by creating integrated communities.
Sorry, Chanakya, just a quick second. Your screen is showing in an elongated fashion, not in the presentation mode. Did you want to change that?
Let me just give me a second, sorry.
Yeah, sure. I'm stopping your time, so don't worry.
Because we see like 5 sides at once, so
Is this better?
This is better, yes. Can you zoom in a little bit more? Then we'll just see one slide at one time.
Yeah, is this better?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry about that. So our problem and solution. So we're digitizing the communication and transaction process between residents and property management, whether that be tracking maintenance services, automating tasks. What we're doing is leveraging technology to increase accountability and transparency. In addition, we're building digital spaces for residents to interact with one another and interact with their local community. So our product is 2 parts. It's the dashboard for property management and an app for residents to use. Going into more detail about our dashboard for property management, what property managers can do is manage multiple properties simultaneously, improve communication between residents and themselves by issuing digital notice boards or direct messaging. We've also automated a lot of tasks, whether that's rent renewal, updating expired documents, issuing receipts. There's a finance management tool and a documentation management tool enabled within the application. There are also basic analytics and HR tools for property managers to use. So this is the one software they'll use and they won't need anything else. Coming to our residential application allows better communication, obviously, with property managers, allows residents to issue maintenance and track progress, issue gate pass to improve the security of the premise, fill out various applications, connect with neighbors, collaborate with local vendors in the area. And the Owners Association tool, which allows owners to communicate with one another, host polls, vote, and receive receipts of all transactions that take place. This is our first product. Our second product is our 360-degree rental management. So what we've done is we've completely digitized the rental process. So now a tenant can apply straight to the app, fill in an application to move into one of our properties, and then they can move in without the need of printing documents and signatures. And for property management, it's as easy as just clicking a button on their dashboard to have the property available on the marketplace. And our last but not least product is our service management. This is also very important to us, especially in the Middle East. We're working with local service providers such as gas utility providers and water providers. What we do is we're digitizing the way they collect information from residents. And with water providers, what we do is we're digitizing the coupon system over here. Here you get huge gallons of water on coupons, and you've got to buy coupons on a regular basis. But again, they're using old traditional ways such as paper to do it. And we're completely trying to eradicate the use of paper and have everything go digital. Our current revenue model is 3 parts. It's the property management tool, which is a monthly subscription fee. And that we work with property managers and real estate agents to get that on, to get residents on board. Our second is our service management and vendor integration. Again, it's either dependent on a transaction fee or a monthly fee unit. And the last is the 360 rental and the marketplace, where again, we have a fee levied on either each transaction or boosted advertisements or on the process of renting, rental fulfillment. Our global market size for the property management tool is forecasted to be about 18 billion. And the current market size in Dubai is 40 million, but this is only for property management. This doesn't include the service management and marketplace. Our go-to-market strategy is relatively easy. We're currently contacting property managers, property owners, real estate agents, service management, and local vendors. We're populating the tool as much as possible. So the more we have on board, the more the residents can take advantage of. Our competitive landscape, currently in UAE with the real estate market, you've got Property Finder, Nomad, Bayut, but again, we're not directly in competition with them. We post all the available units on that platform. All we do is digitize the whole process after a resident sees a potential unit. Where when it comes to community applications, we have Yordi, Happy Tenant, Ada, and MR1. Again, they don't have any local integration, so therefore they're strictly just a property management tool. They're where we have an advantage compared to them. When it comes to classify, there's Dubas on OpenSoup. Because every resident on our platform is verified, because they have to go through the whole rental process, it's a much more secure system compared to the other two I've mentioned. I've also mentioned the competitive advantages that we have with local integration, using of technology. We're also working on a Go Green initiative where we're partnering with local vendors to, have recycle drives and donation drives with the properties that we're currently in operation with. And for Owners Association, this is a big tool where a lot of residents and communities, they don't want to have bachelors staying in their units, or sometimes they're not pet friendly. So we have given them the tools to, decide what kind of tenants they'd like to rent out to, therefore maintaining the integrity of the community. Our app is open to anyone to download. Compared to the other community platforms, you have to be part of a building to be able to use the application. Whereas for us, with the open marketplace and the ability to apply for tenancy through the application, it's open for anyone to download. We've only been in operation for about a month, and we've secured 2 strong partners. That's with Danube Building Materials and MAA Real Estate. Danube Building Materials has 6,000 plus units under management. We're already in 2 of their properties with 120 units each. And with MAA, we've also secured a contract with them on their current property and all the other upcoming properties that they have under management. And we're currently in a building of theirs called Alford John Grove with 112 units under management. We've started communication with My Dubai and Lota Gas. These are the 2 service providers over here that we're trying to digitize the way they receive and communicate with the residents that we're managing right now. We are currently looking to ask for 500,000 for 17% equity. The use of the funds mainly is going to be to hire more developers and a sales team, because we want to populate the app as much as possible. We currently have no outstanding debt, and according to our financial projections, we should be profitable by July 2022. The current team, that's me. I studied over here in Abu Dhabi in Shoaib Fat, and then I went to the University of Toronto, Canada. I worked in financial sales and as an investment banker in New York, and I also helped establish the Business Accelerator at the University of Toronto, Canada. My CTO, Chan, he's a software engineer. He's worked with multiple big banks here in UAE to develop their softwares. And he's also worked as a freelancer to develop mobile applications for the health, retail, and fitness sector. My chief design officer, Chaitanya, who's also my twin brother, he is the head of design. He's a UI UX designer. He's working for a company over here that has launched Love in Dubai. They're a very successful media firm over here. And he's helped develop their UI UX platform for their upcoming app as well. The reason we are doing this, we're creating this product, two main reasons is one, we're trying to come aligned with the UAE vision of reduced dependency on paper. So whether that comes in tenancy contracts or within buildings where you completely eradicate the use of paper. So that's what we're striving to do, as well with our Go Green initiatives to increase the amount of stuff residents or our partners can recycle and donate and give back. And again, we're increasing the points of contactless transactions given the current state of the economy we're in to make transactions easier between residents and their local community. That's pretty much it from me. I hope to take all your questions. Anything you guys ask, I'm here to answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very, very much. All right, questions?
Great, thank you, Chanakia from Connected Community. So please, our advisors, investors, if you have any questions, any remarks regarding Chanakia's business, raise your hand, feel free to express yourself.
I think Christina wants to say something.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Chanakia. Thank you for sharing your business idea with us. Just one note, I have a twin sister, so I know how you feel.
That's great.
We twins all together. Regarding the market size and in general your market strategy, I have a big concern regarding the competition, because like when you go to UK, they have like hundreds of prop tech now on the market and they are covering all the features you're covering. Even here in the small Switzerland, we have many initiatives. We have at least 40 plus top prop tech companies, and they're doing exactly what you're doing, right? And you are pointing out as a USP that everybody can download and log in. I'm not sure if in terms of business model, it's really a proper USP. And this is my question. How do you really differentiate on the market?
Okay, so I'd like to answer that question in two parts. First, specifically with the UAE market, and then a more general aspect. So with the UAE market, how we're differentiating ourselves is we're actually connecting with local service providers. Like I mentioned, the gas company, the current way that they collect information with regarding your gas meter reading is you have to write it on a sheet of paper that they give to you every bi-monthly, and then you take a picture and send it on WhatsApp. So then they go through all the information, they put it in place, and then they issue a bill accordingly. So we're streamlining the process completely for them and completely digitizing the process. So that's one where we're differentiating ourselves from the local competitors. The other way is we're also collaborating with other companies like My Dubai and other water providers to digitize the coupons that they sell over here. That's again a very Middle Eastern thing that you buy gallons of water. Another way we're differentiating ourselves from our other competitors is that, like I mentioned in the beginning of the slide, I actually took an initiative to host the Halloween event. I was very young then, but all these other competitors out there, they give you a product and that's about it. They don't take the extra initiative to keep the audience engaged. And we believe that we have a list of initiatives, especially given in this diverse society that we live in, whether someone's from one part of the world to the other. We want to connect them, create engaging events, therefore to keep them engaged within the application to differentiate ourselves from the others. Allowing us to keep them engaged will ultimately allow us to reduce the price point at which we enter the market, therefore hoping that that gives us enough of an advantage to come into the market. Now, the key markets that we're currently focusing on is UAE, and then we expect to go into Australia and India. The way our product's going to work in Australia is going to be a little different. Instead of property management companies, what we're doing is we're giving our tool directly to real estate agents because they're usually the point of command for the people in Australia. So that's how we're going to differentiate ourselves over there. And again, get some of the same products that we're delivering here, integrating with the current society that they're in order to give products. Something like a Yordi Breeze and stuff, which is more of a global company. They sell you the software and the software as is. There is no added initiative over that to integrate the residents within their community. And that's where we believe we'll have an added advantage. I hope that
Thank you very much. Yes, it does answer. Just one remark, I might have missed it on some of the slides for the business model. What is very uncommon and very welcome in this area to upsell insurances. I don't know if I have seen it, if you didn't cover it. I can recommend it because it's a very safe source.
Like, we've planned out five and like we have more products that we intend to offer, But again, we've only been in operation for a month and a half. We've been incorporated only in March, and in barely 6 months, we've been able to come so far. So like, I appreciate everything that my team is doing. And once we have the team and we're capable of doing more, we totally intend to do all of that.
And it looks like you did a great job so far. So congratulations.
Khaled, do you have any questions? I can see you, francillé, I would say. Khaled.
If I may, thank you. Thanks, Shanaka, for the presentation. I like the storytelling at the beginning. This was a good start. The point I'd like to point here is maybe for all startups, keep it simple. And I think that, first of all, the slides, Shanaka, you have to keep them simple. Everyone has to keep them simple. No need to put that many words. And the point that Samar mentioned at the initial stage, that's very valid. Try and make sure that you're going to get the slides right. You try the technical parts beforehand. This is an advice for everybody. Shanaka, you did it before. So that there won't be any apologies or whatsoever for dragging on a particular subject. And the point in terms of business is also try and keep it simple. Myself being also a serial entrepreneur, I see you're trying to touch a lot of aspects of property management. And I guess this might have an adverse effect, adverse impact to investors, seeing that you're touching so many areas rather than specializing and showing your differentiation and your competitive advantage in one particular area. So just be mindful of that. Otherwise, well done in just 1 month of operation, having done so much. And well done on your initiatives also with whatever you're doing and creating solutions to problems.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alexandre, I think. Alexandre wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. The pitch was nice. And I have partially the response to my question with what you have raised, Christina, because I had the same concern. So in terms of purely investor and development perspective, the fact that later on, you are a Dubai registered company, right?
Yes, we are at the free zone.
Okay. Later on, and it links to what Christina raised, later on, as you say, if you want to develop in Austria or in another country, I know by the regulation, like a Dubai company cannot be a community manager in Austria or in Switzerland or France, or you need to have a régie, you need to have a registered company in place. So does your model and your business model involve the creation of many branches in each country, which will have a huge, massive impact on the CapEx and the OpEx?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Our business model has included investment in both the Australian and the Indian market. We've actually also incorporated in the Indian market already. So that's not going to be a future expense in the future. It's just that when we do enter the Australian market, when we're ready, we already anticipate what the costs are going to be, and we've already allocated the funds for it accordingly.
Cost and regulation, because I know, for example, most of the country in Europe, to be a community manager for a building, there is a lot of, it's not just open a WLL and then you present the service, you have to be registered. I don't know where, it depends on the country, but to a special municipality office or legal office, because it's not like everybody who can run a community manager, in terms of insurance, responsibility and everything.
So to answer your question, we don't necessarily have to get the license to be community managers because we're not managing the communities. We're giving the software for property managers to manage the communities. We're giving them the tools they require. Therefore, as long as we're not physically involved with any of the finances or we're not physically involved in making decisions that impact the community, we don't require those licenses.
Okay, so then how do you secure the fact, the discrepancy between what will be on the software, if, for example, a tenant requests something on the application, and the real physical application in the building? Because, maybe some buildings or some community manager, they will get your app. A tenant will be subscribing on your app and will request, I don't know, I want to open the gas in my apartment. So he goes on the application, he click on it and blah, 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 the application validated. But physically on the ground, the community manager doesn't do it, or they postpone it to next week, or
So we have integrated, I don't have enough time, but I would have given you a demo of the product. So we've integrated the application in order for property management companies to integrate with third-party vendors. So if they don't already have a third-party vendor that takes care of these applications, we provide them a list who we're already in favor with, and we could connect them with the property management company. If not, even if they have a completely independent vendor who's not on our list, they don't have to download a separate app or anything. They just have to create a login user information for them, and then they can access the same information as long as it's allocated to them from the property management company. And
Yeah,
once
but
again,
yes, but my question was, I would say the guarantee of service.
Yeah, okay.
Your system, I understand it, but I would say the guarantee of service. Like, for example, in my building now, if I ask for, let's say, the electricity, if it's not done within 2 hours, then I can take the phone, I can go to an office and shout and say, hey guys, what are you doing? But if it's from an application in Dubai, and let's say right now I'm in Switzerland, and I go on your application, I say, I want the electricity, and tonight it's not done, who I call, where I go?
Okay, so once we get a building on board, apart from the messaging aspect, you can still call and contact them. It's just that through the messaging aspect, you can track the progress of it. So it's divided into multiple channels. So once, suppose you raise a concern about something that's not working in your sink, you've raised a request, it goes to the property management company. Yes, we don't have quality control of whether the property management company does the task that they're supposed to do. But the moment they allocate someone and they allocate a third-party company that is supposed to solve the issue, you get updated. Then you can communicate. There's a three-way communication chat between you, the third-party company, and the property management to allocate a time and place when they can come and actually fix the issue. So what we've given is, again, the tools to completely track the process. We cannot completely guarantee quality control because that is solely dependent on the property management company that is managing the property. But as we look at it right now is that property management companies still work the way they work. And with the application, it's just the residents have an ease of mind that their request has been received and there is work that's being taken place regarding that request. What we may do in the future is, if once we are much more established, we can become the property manager ourselves. And then we can assure buildings of the, we can assure buildings of the quality that they'd expect or they'd require. But again, that is something we would do much into the future once we have available funds, once we have built our product, and once we know that we want to go down that stream.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
do we have any other questions?
Any other questions? So we can take any other questions offline. For the sake of time, we are running a little bit behind schedule. Let's move on to
Thank you so much.
New York City. Thank you, Janakia. Round of applause for you.
Yes.
Great ones. Any
Well done.
remarks or investment requests will be taken offline for Janakia, representing Connected Community. Let's move on to New York City now. We have Love Tulsidas, who's gonna present us Face Open.
Face Open.
Is Love around?
All right, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yeah,
Yes,
loud and clear.
we can see you.
Excellent. Glad to
See
see
you
you in a
again.
good mood. Yes. Go ahead.
Always.
The stage is yours.
Well, thank
How
you.
many minutes, Munir? 6 minutes, 7?
7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes.
No worries. Last time I did a 5-minute.
Ah, okay. I'm
I got
watching.
it. Munir prepped me well. Well, thank you everybody for your time. Good afternoon, good morning if you're around here in New York. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Get that out of the way. All right. Almost there. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, Face Open is a startup that I founded a couple of years ago. This is my second startup. I have another one. It was pretty successful. And the mission of Face Open is to change the human experience with doors and locks forever. We are essentially, from a technology perspective, robots plus AI company from a technology perspective. Now, let me ask you all a question. How many of you have ever traveled for an hour and a half to your office and realized you forgot a badge or you forgot a key, and either you had to go all the way back to get in, or you had to go to a security office, spend another few hours, and then end up being super late for a meeting that was important, right? How many of you, a couple of days ago, everybody in my house went nuts because we couldn't find the car keys. And basically it was like, hey, who used the keys last? And eventually we found it a couple of days later. So that's really what we're all about. That's the passion. No more keys, no more badges, no more touching for that matter. So we currently are in a place where we are working with hospitality, data centers, distribution centers, and some people in the gaming industry to get rid of doors and locks forever. Now, maybe you might be familiar with the very popular TV show, Star Trek. This was the one in 1997 where the intern asked Captain Picard, where are the handles on the door? And Captain Picard says to the intern, well, it's about time I tell you about the year 2020. And I thought this was interesting to share because here we are in 2020 on a mission to get rid of door handles forever, right? Now, the vision is very big. Eventually, what we want to do is basically face open to be on just about every door, whether it be an elevator, an ATM, safe box, a car. You never have to carry anything on you. And not only the door unlocks based on who you are, but it actually opens for you. Now, having said that, diving a little bit deeper on the actual problem that we're solving, for me, the passion was, I'm the type of creative entrepreneur, always lost in some thought about something very deep, and I will get somewhere, always forgetting my keys, my badges. I've not been as crazy as Einstein. I never forgot my clothes, thankfully, but I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. So being a technology innovator, we were, for my previous startup that was successful, we were opening up a new innovation center that could house about 200 some brilliant engineers. And we wanted to look out there what was available as state-of-the-art, that first impression that people would have when they walk in. And very surprisingly, what we saw, it was a lot of, the good old keys, or for that matter, a lot of these companies were selling us the what used to be the gold standard of access control, the fingerprint scanner, right? And of course, the badge reader and smart apps as well. But I tried that, and I got in front of the door and my phone was dead. And I was like, what do I do now? So this is really my motivation from having gone through this pain a lot, to come up with a solution where you truly do not have to carry anything, not even your phone. You don't have to touch anything. And as a matter of fact, post-COVID, I was in the office working with my team in New York, and I took a break, went to the men's room. It was a big office space, so the men's room usually don't have a lock. Went in and washed my hands. They say you sing happy birthday twice. Washing my hands, soaping, all the stuff. And then as I'm walking out of the men's room, I'm like, damn, I have to hold that door handle again because there's no other way to get out of there. And I'm like, what was the point of washing my hands, right? And that's when it hit me. We need to not just unlock the door, but we need to have a solution that can open the door. So we started looking at what was out there. And most of them were very heavy duty industrial grade type of products that were very hard to install and mostly motion based, right? So before I tell you a little bit more about the solution, let's talk about the market and some traction that we've had. So the total addressable market is $2 trillion. Now you might say, hey, that's absolutely nuts. and certainly I'm not claiming that we're going to get $2 trillion in business. However, there are 20 billion doors with locks out there that are using old, antiquated systems. So that's our market eventually. In the short term, we're going after essential workplaces, which is basically labs, data centers, government facilities. Tractions that we've gotten so far, we have an MOU and we're in very advanced stages to start implementing this at the US Air Force. 3 air bases have joined in at this point, and we are making really good progress. We've gotten a paid deployment early stage at a data center who really wanted this technology. And we've only been actively doing sales for the past couple months, and we already have $1.5 million in top of funnel pipeline. Middle funnel pipeline, $40 million top of funnel pipeline. With that said, I'm going to play a very quick video to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So this case study is for a hotel. You get an email to check in before you even get there. Take the picture, walk in. As you can see, no more lines, no more waiting, no more total social distancing, no more touching elevator buttons. It tells you where to go. You get in front of the room, welcomes you, you walk in. You don't even have to close the door, it closes for you. That's face open. So a little bit of a deeper dive here. So we've got the eyes, so to speak, right?
So I just have to alert you, Love, because it's already 7 minutes, 40 seconds. So just hurry up.
Sure. So you've got the eyes here, and then you've got the bot. And what's very unique about what we've done, and we've talked to a lot of people, they say they've never seen this bot in the world that actually opens and closes the door. It's packed with robotics and AI, and I'm happy to dive deeper if any of you are interested. From a security perspective, the way we look at identity, we call it the trifecta of security, where it's what you have, things like your face, which is mostly what we're focusing on today. But tomorrow it's going to be voice and other things that you have on you that you don't have to carry or acquire. Also for, let's say, a more secure premises, such as, let's say, a bank or military facility, it's also what you know for that second factor authentication. And that's how we know who you are. And that's our thesis effectively on security. More recently, based on popular demand, we've added, or we are adding, I should say, it's not out yet, temperature reading. So if someone, even though they have access, if they have fever, the door won't open for them. And likewise, if the building wants to enforce mask wearing, it will not let you go in unless you wear your mask on. Business model, we've got a plan and we're already executing on this. Again, for the sake of time, I'm going to move to the next one. We've got a lot of the unit economics in place because we've done some sales. We've done a lot of work here. Competitive landscape. Yes, it is true that if you simply look at touchless door unlocking, there are quite a few players. However, there is just about nobody that I know to date that's doing the touch-free door opening, so that full experience, you never have to touch the door handle again. Sales pipeline, as I mentioned, we've got a deep dive here, but I'm going to skip it again for the sake of time. A lot of very big companies are very, very interested to come in as early customers, early partners, namely the biggest one I should say is US Air Force. We see this as a platform where, it's not just there to open the door, but also there's data, right, about who's going in, who's going out. Of course, respecting GDPR and all the privacy regulations across the world, but that allows us to open that up for other analytics and other third parties to come in to offer value-added services such as security, attendance management, and so on. I know Samar is giving me a sign, so I'm
I
gonna
know.
hurry up.
It's been
Real
more
quick,
than 10 minutes. Jump to the ask, please.
I am real quick. I should mention we have a world-class team here. As you can see, we have a few doctors. We have Shri, who's a very passionate advisor in the company. He actually took Shark, the brand Shark Ninja IPO. This guy Joseph Saad, he was one of the founding members of Face First, and he joined us as Chief Revenue Officer. So we've got some really prominent people who are believers here. The ask is we're looking to raise $5 million at this point, and the primary reason for the raise is we are at a point now where we have a pipeline. We're past engineering, prototyping, and we need to manufacture at scale. So that's going to help us build our inventory and assembly line, and also accelerate our go-to-market with a sales team. So current round of 5 million, and we're mostly looking to do this on a convertible note, so we can get moving quickly. And in about, if we're able to execute our plan in about 12 to 18 months, we'd be raising a lot more to blow this up and become the de facto brand in the world for touch-free door opening. With that, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, can you please stop sharing your screen? No, it's been almost 12 minutes, so you will be penalized for that, unfortunately. So please stop sharing your screen and let's turn on to the panel of investors and advisors for their remarks and questions.
Okay, Alexandre, you're unmuted.
Yes, please. Super fast question, super quick question. One regarding your business model. Do you have any study regarding the impact of the cost implementation? Because, for example, taking into consideration your hotel example, fine, the software is one thing, but all the device to attach to the doors for opening, closing, you know, especially in Dubai or in New York, if you have a hotel with 1,000 rooms, you know, if even each floor, you need to put a device. This automatic system to close and open needs to have something to the door, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the robot needs to.
And you know, hotels, they have a very few margin. Like, for example, when it's a question to change the TV or the hair dryer in a hotel and there is 1,000 room or 2,000 room, it's already a massive impact. And there is always the dispute between the owner of the hotel and the operator who says, you know, the operator says, we need to change this. The owner says, no, sorry, I spent already millions in my hotel. I don't want any cost during the next 10 years. You know? So do you have a study of this impact cost per room, for example? How much it will cost per room? Usually you calculate per room. How much it will cost per room to implement this system?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got two models. If they want to just simply pay for the hardware, it's $1,500 per room. But we also have a SaaS model where it's if it's volume, it's going to be $50 per door a month. And we, in fact, have a hotel currently waiting for our proposal final signature. And their value proposition was the following. Because of COVID, they're struggling to get employees and customers back on the premise. And they're at a point where they're willing to do a lot of investments to make people feel that their premises are secure, no need to touch. Secondly, the big value proposition, think about how much money they are spending on replacing key cards that get lost constantly, needing to cycle.
I know, for that reason, I ask you, like this, an investor, a hotel owner or a group, they will make this benchmark. So you say already the software is 1,500 per room, but what about the hardware?
No, that's the hardware.
That's the hardware.
Yes. And then in that model, we're charging $10 per door per month. And alternatively, recently we've come up with a new model, which is simply $50 per door per month. You don't have to worry about paying for the hardware. It's a complete SaaS model. Okay.
Second question, you ask 5 million against how much equity?
Well, at this point, our valuation's 25 million, but we are looking to do a convertible note right now, because in about 12 to 18 months, we're going to have to raise a bigger amount to execute.
Exactly. So that was my next question. On the convertible note, you put a discount on it or not?
Sure, that's something we could definitely negotiate.
Okay, and you are registered in the US?
Yeah, we are a US-based company, absolutely.
And you are what, Delaware, C Corp? Because you know the convertible note has an impact if you are a Delaware or a C Corp company.
Delaware, yeah, Delaware, yeah, Inc., C Corp, yeah. Corporation, Delaware Corporation.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Super. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Alexandre. Nice meeting you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Are you on? No? Okay. Anybody?
Yeah, just took all my questions like I did previously on the other startup. And I had exactly the same concerns. So I see like the hardware installation would be a question, a big question. And when you see like, especially because you pointed out all the hotels as a big client or target group, Marriott has an automated system. When I book a hotel with Marriott, I don't need to lie in or to queue it or something. So this is definitely one thing to think about. My question would be on the traction, because you said you finished the piloting. Can you please give me in 2 sentences where you're standing on the traction?
Yeah, so we did a paid deployment for a data center. This is one of our early customers. We've done a few offices. We are starting a paid engagement with the US Air Force. We started one airbase. We had 2 others join in because they were very interested in our technology, actually solving a problem that they have today. In addition to them, we have a distribution center for a big grocery chain in the United States who are, a proposal is waiting on the CFO's desk to sign, and everything's been agreed to. And we have a couple others like that. One is a hotel, one's the distribution center, and the third one is a big telco company.
Okay, so the maturity of the product is you are ready to go to the market.
Yes, but the main reason why we're raising, because we need to manufacture at a larger scale and build inventory. Okay. Yes, we are ready to go to market, but we're building smaller quantities in our own lab.
So you need 5 millions to produce the hardware then?
Say that again?
You are seeking for 5 millions to produce the hardware.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. And also to accelerate what we've been doing so far. I personally funded this startup so far, go through the deep tech, and I'm looking for another partner to join in to take it to the next level.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So if there is no other remarks, great. Summer, let's move on to startup number 3.
Yes, so we've got Lord Anand. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but he's coming to us with Art Smiley.
Great.
Yeah. Hi, Munir. Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, Lord has 6 minutes.
Hello.
And Lord is very fast. Oh, okay, he's up already. Very good.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lourd Alam. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Art Smiley. Art Smiley is an online marketplace for art. So what is our mission is actually on having Art Smiley. Our mission is to make art more accessible and affordable to all communities and provide a viable career for artists. How Art Smiley was started, I have a friend called Santosh, and I've been worked in, before it come to Art Smiley, I was a project manager and mechanical engineer in oil and gas industry for many years. And one of our fabricator named Santosh, his good friend, he's a realistic artist as well. Beautiful paintings he make. But unfortunately, he quit art as a profession and joined us as a fabricator. When I talked to him, one of the reasons he gave me is he worked all around the year, working hard, but not able to make even $5,000. And that's not enough to feed his family and, groom their kids. So this, make him to not to continue with art and joined as a fabricator. Like Santosh, many of the emerging artists have the same problem. They don't know how to showcase their artwork, how to market themselves, and get the name and fame they deserve in the industry. And the other side of the coin, we have finding affordable and unique pieces of artwork is a major concern to a lot of art buyers, especially high net worth individuals who are more buying online. Also, there are no economical options currently to decorate the walls on a regular basis, especially with original works, it can be hospitality or corporate clients. So we are Art Smiley is a multi-sided online platform addressing these problems, and we connect artists and art buyers 24/7. In a nutshell, we call ourselves as Amazon of artworks. So what is our products? Actually, we provide all kinds of contemporary art and sculptures that includes from abstract to photography, illustrative, figurative, anything. We have all kinds of mediums. And how our platform works, artists can register into our platform. It's a free of cost, and upload their artwork. It goes to the curator before it, once the curator is approved, it will be matched with the potential buyer. On the other side, the buyer can search and select their favorite painting within few clicks, and it can be delivered to their doorsteps without any hassle. The key services we provide for both B2B and B2C is we sell original artworks, and we also do limited edition replicas of the original artworks. And we do art rentals, which is the first tool in the region, and art consultancy services as well. So the art market is very attractive, and it is in 2019, the total value of art market is around $64.1 billion, and equal to 40.5 million transactions were registered in 2019. That is highest in a decade and 2% higher than compared to the previous year, in which online market is around approximately 9%, $5.9 billion, and expected to grow over 15%. For the next 5 years. This is a pre-COVID scenario, whereas we see in last 2 quarters more than 100% growth in online art market. And Art Smiley aiming to make $59 million in the next 5 years. So how are we going to reach the market? And we are adopting 3 levels of marketing strategy to reach out the wider audience of artists, art collectors, buyers from home decor to large corporations. We would like to be participating in art fairs where there is a high turnout of audience, and especially some of them I mentioned, Art Basel, or Frieze London, or Frieze New York. And we also want to have partnerships with artists, art auction houses, art collectors, especially those who don't have an online presence. We also, being an online platform, we will be doing extensive digital marketing like SMM, social media marketing, and also SEO, Google AdWords. So our competitors, mainly I consider, because we have more than 1,300 artists. In a minute I come to our traction, but in a global platform, we consider our competitors are Saatchi, Artfinder, RaiseArt. These are all Europe or USA based businesses. How we are differentiating with them? We are building relations or partnerships with local communities. Like example, in India, Africa, many parts of the countries, there are local regional talent which has never been exposed to the world. And we want to go to those local communities and build our relations and partnerships and showcase these unknown and unhidden guys in our platform. And we also want to be differentiating by bringing art rentals. We're the only first one in the market. Second globally actually. So we also have handcrafts we want to bring in, so that we are providing variety and at the same time unknown, unseen artworks and handcrafts, and that's how we are differentiating with our competition. These are some of the competitive advantage. As I said earlier, we were first to market in art rentals in the Middle East and Africa. We're only second globally in art rentals. And we also want to build our partnerships with local communities, colleges, to bring some unknown and hidden talent. And we also have the regional advantage, know-how, the knowledge, and the taste of the culture here, and what you call known the customers very well. We have that regional advantage. We also want to bring AI and AR, VR into our platform that will give us ahead of our competition and increase our customer satisfaction. Especially, we want to use these tools. Somebody want to showcase their art. Look how the artwork in their walls, they can use the AR, and we also want to bring in art authentication with these tools. So this is something that we want to do in the near future. So how we make money? We take commission on every transaction we do, and we take 35% commission on all the art rentals and art prints and sale of the paintings, and we take 25% commission on our partner services. Okay. And what is our traction to date? We have 1,300 registered artists in our platform from 50 countries, and we also have partnerships with the B2B like DoubleTree by Hilton in Business Bay, Bay Square, and some other hotels. We had partnerships of selling the paintings to them. We have more than 100+ customers to date and more than 100K revenues earned. And these are some of the clients, early adopters. We've done sale of paintings to Shangri-La, Gulf Court, and there are other property developers as well in the region. So this is my team led by me and Lourdes, and I have over 20 years experience in operations and business management. And I managed different roles with P&L responsibility in the past. And Aruna is my co-founder. She's managing all the technical front of the platform, and she's managing all other, she's an UI developer, so she's managing the full technical front. Rajiv manages the marketing, and Vikash is our art consultant and curator. He ensures that we have showcased a good quality of artwork and manages all the artist relations. And the financial planning wise, we are looking with the availability of funding, we expect it to make $2 million of revenue up to $60 million in the next 5 years, with over 131% of growth, compound annual growth rate in revenues, 105% in profits, and 166% in cash. So what we are looking is 750K to achieve 1,200 transactions in Art Smiley over 12 months of operation. That equates to over $2 million of revenue. The funding will be used for the technology development. We want to develop our own mobile app, and we also want to upgrade our platform with the latest technologies. We want to spend on more on sales and marketing and hire critical resources. That's all from my side. Thank you. Any questions? You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lourdes.
It's a pleasure.
All right, questions. And I know that Jean-Luc has also joined us, so looking forward to your questions as well. All right, who wants to go first?
Advisors, investors?
Yeah, Christina here speaking, Christina with a K. Thank you very much for the presentation. I completely see the market. I have a couple of friends who are running their own galleries, especially here in Zurich area. It's very, very good business to run. And I appreciate when you're providing with your platform, especially access to newcomers in this area, right? Because it's very hard to access. It's very hard to be promoted. I have only one concern. I had just really I guess my heart skip a bit when I heard your commission of 35%. It's a very, very proud commission, especially when you are addressing that you want to have galleries as your clients. Then you have galleries that are charging between 30 and 50% as well. So then the artist doesn't get anything, or the art is becoming so expensive that it becomes unaffordable. Can you please give some insights why the commission is so high? And how do you want to manage it, especially dealing with art galleries and already existing players in the market?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we will differentiate normal art galleries. Traditional, they charge up to 50%, and they will consign the artworks and they keep it. Whether you sell it or not sell it, they are sitting there in their stock. This is a normal practice. We don't hold any of these stocks. Why we charge 35%? Obviously, we are bringing a talent which is unknown and hidden. We have to take into the market. We have to promote them extensively, and we have to take him to the art fairs. And we are doing all this work. And we looked at already our numbers because we already have 100K of traction. We can look at the cost, how much is involving in promoting these artworks, and it required at the end. It also involves. We are a profit organization, so we have to make bottom line to show even investors. So that 35% is even. 35% we are charging depends on if it's a volume clients, we are actually giving it less because we have B2B clients where they buy on volume basis. There are corporate discounts, but on average, this is what I mentioned. So at this minute in time, it is for me, I look at it, maybe the business growth, maybe it can go down, but today I see it is necessary because the cost of running the business is also there.
Just a thought, because you put the burden for the entry on your platform very high. So many people will think like, oh, he's keeping 30%. Just one thought from my side, you might want to put your heads together with your team and come up with some kind of different subscriptions models or different margin models. When you say there's an entry level, when you don't promote, you just get on board on the platform. There are other which include more marketing and so on and so on, just to give people the opportunity to really get on board on your platform and don't get like me, such a shock. I say, no.
I mean, having said that, I have not been come across, people said, because the other end, I've seen work with many other galleries in US and Europe, they all charge 50%. Online galleries, 40% they charge minimum. Online galleries in UK, like Artsy or Saatchi, these are all I know, competitors who are in there, they're all 40% they are charging. So we were put less. In fact, we will look at it because one other element, as I said, it's not everybody, look at it. We are participating in tomorrow onwards World Art Dubai. they charge me for a square meter, $500. Okay, they call it as affordable artwork, but that's how the business, because everybody, things are difficult. But at the end, our intention is to bring this talent, and we take it on board, emerging talent, and we nurture them and make them tomorrow's superstars.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
Alexandre, do we have Alexandre with us?
Yes, he is there. He is.
Alexandre, do we have maybe
Jean-Luc as well.
maybe Dalal, maybe Jean-Luc? Heike?
I don't have anything special. I remember the previous pitch. Yeah, no, for me it's clear. It's very clear what they're doing.
Sure. Alexandre?
It is a clear pitch for sure.
Alexandre is muted.
Wait. Sorry, which company we're talking about?
Art Smiley.
Art Smiley.
Yeah. Okay. No. I look at I understand the model, but no, I have no. It was pretty clear, So.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you. We'll.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next startup. I believe we have. Honeywell cannot make it today. I believe we have International Protein, represented by Stefano Spinozzi. Is Stefano around?
Yes, Stefano has been there from get-go.
Yeah, I was listening. Hello.
Good.
Stefano, I think your internet connection is a bit slow, so make sure you fix the internet before you lose everyone.
Okay. Do you want? Okay. Let me know if it's giving you trouble. I'll try to switch the connection in case.
Okay.
Okay.
So Stefano has 5 minutes.
Okay.
Stefano, 5 minutes means fast, huh?
Very good. So let's get started. First of all, thank you very much for the time and for the invitation. I'm here representing International Protein, which is a company / a startup built upon a technology on the rendering industry. Now, I will get into details and I will take you to a journey of few pieces of context before we get into the numbers piece. Just to make sure that we are on the same page. What we do is we have a disruptive technology that converts more efficiently animal and animal waste into marketable byproducts, which are animal feed, oils, and so on. This is an industry called rendering, and I want to make this clarification just to avoid you believe we are a graphic designing startup. But rendering is the industry and the process of this transformation. Now, the context I want to give is the first on a food security side. It's a hot topic those days, and what you can see on the left side is basically the value chain on the animal industry, the animal protein industry that comes to the consumer. And the key point here is that through a lot of governmental strategies, most of it has been localized, except for when it comes to the animal feed, which is still majorly imported from global supply chain routes. And the source or the feedstock to create this feed, good part of it is the animal waste itself. And as you can see, most of it is today going to landfills instead of being recycled into high quality feed. Given through a mix of reasons, mainly the industry is not developed and there is not the right know-how and access to the technology. That's our problem statement, is the gap in the food security localization, and the opportunity is all the available animal waste that today is being produced in the region, but going into the landfills. And there is no local market player of relevance. It's a fragmented market, very small players without very strong capabilities. That's where we come across. Our team is made of me, my partners who come from the agricultural industry, plus the engineers who patented the technology and ran our shop in the US, where the technology has been made. The three options of recycling the animal waste is going to landfills. It's polluting, there is only loss of money. Then there are all today's existing technology which do their job. However, they are a bit more inefficient and they are polluting. and you need the bigger size or bigger economies of scale to drive real profitability. And then we come with ABVRS, which is our technology. It's environmental friendly. We do not have any wastewater generated. We do not have any noxious odors. And we also simplified the operations so that coming to an high quality end product is made easier and accessible to every standardized type of processes. Those are our benefits. I will not get too much in details around it, but I will leave it for you to ask more in case you are interested. But they will redirect basically and reflect into the financials. Our technology was funded by Auburn University, the best aquaculture university in the US and the top ones for agriculture. This is our EPA certification. Some picture, our technology is running to the first plant in the US. And we have 7 years of historical track record, mechanical and all of this. However, sold to a third party, and we want to take it here to the region. Quick snapshot on the value chain. It's just the horizontal version of the first one and how we fit in terms of transformation. And I just want to answer a couple of questions that might come up for people that are not familiar with it. Yes, in the region, there is a huge amount of available feedstock. There are 3.5 billion chickens slaughtered per year between GCC and North Africa. There is a lot of fish and fish operations that are set to grow as per the local political strategies, and there is a lot of meat that is being eaten and slaughtered. So I want to come to who we are and what we do. We want to create an integrated rendering company leveraging our technology and penetrating the regional market to become the leading operator. And we are going to do this mainly by operating directly the plants, and that's where we know the real money are. We are also open to spot sales, but those are one-off money, but it's something we look forward to, but it's not our core. And then offering O&M services and trading. We are looking for a round A $5 million injection. It's basically to invest in the first project in the region. I have all the details later on. And it's gonna be needed to build the credibility in the region to the technology, which is working, and I can tell you, but also to the business model and all the aspects that we've talked about it. And then this is the investment that we wanna use to set the base to an accelerated growth to following rounds of financing. I can drive you through some of the sample P&Ls. It's not a standardized product, as probably most of you might be used to.
Okay, we can't hear you, Stefano. And your time is also up. Okay,
okay.
It's been 6 minutes.
I will leave it to the questions maybe. I know it's a bit of a complex journey to get to the financials. Those financials are available, and I'm open to have any questions from you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop sharing your screen, Stefano, please.
Yes. Okay. I can give a moment.
Beautiful panel. Questions and remarks.
And Alexandre, unmute.
Well, just one question. I'm not very familiar with this industry, but yeah, what you were saying, I know that if I remember, I read a few years ago in Dubai, there was something like this, or someone started to use this rendered from animals for, no?
There are two very small players in the Northern Emirates. We visited them. They are using a very low-end technology from Southeast Asia. When I asked her how they dispose of the wastewater, they show me the backyard, and the quality of their products is low. They are unable to grow further. One of them bought even their own capacity for the feedstock they are able to access, and the other is just happy with what he's doing. And the same situation is in the whole region, with the exception of two big players, but not focused on rendering. But they developed more sophisticated skills only for their own waste operations.
Okay, and in terms purely on an investor perspective, why would you start? Why would you like them to start it in the region? I mean, why this and not any other?
Now, when you go to Europe or US, it's a very mature market. The competitive landscape is very different from the region. There are consolidated national champions. Those are billion-dollar companies doing this, and it's almost impossible to break into their models. They have very big volumes, consolidated in economies of scale, and you can't access it. In the region, there is the available feedstock that within the value chain is the most critical aspect for the success.
Okay, okay, clear enough. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, other questions?
Anyone else?
Nope.
Priti, Dr. Dalal, Mike, Christina, Khaled, Jean-Luc, Heike.
I think from our idea point of view, I think it's really a good idea, and I think something which is it's very much required and has not been taken care of. So I definitely would support it, and I do believe also this region is very much into meat, and I think whatever with the waste that is happening at the moment is for sure. This is a very smart idea to utilize it and make business out of it. So I definitely would support the idea. Great, thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Matt. I was coming from a change of, you know, I spent all my career as a corporate executive in the energy and oil and gas, and then I felt the need to go into something more environmental friendly, and this was the opportunity that I found. But thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Bravissimo.
Thank you, guys.
Great. I think we don't have anyone else as a pitch in the list, right? So what I would suggest, if any of you guys, be it investors or advisors, would like to, you know, say a few words or, you know, a few tips and guidance to our startups who are logging now, Dinamikawi, for example, if you want to say something regarding to the startups to give them, you know, some advices, how to pitch better, or, you know, how to control the time of the pitch, or how to attract the attention of the investors, please feel free. Because we have plenty of time left.
So I just joined like 5 minutes ago, so I wasn't able to see the pitches. I'm in New York actually, so my day's just getting started. That's why I was just trying to hop on here as quickly as I can. But yeah, I mean, it seems like I would actually love to. I don't know if you're going to be able to share this after, so I could just review this specific pitch on my own time, because it did seem interesting and potentially something that some of the investors that are in my network may look at. But yeah, I can't really get it, but just in general, the feedback, I would definitely say, you know, to really capture the attention of the investors by really keeping it sweet and short and to the point, and being able to kind of give the competitive advantage and straight to the point. I mean, I think, I don't know how they did, but it seems like they did well. I would love to review it on my own time. But yeah, I think that's what really I would say. I'm excited to look at it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana. Jean-Luc Chérard, can you make a few comments about the pitch that you heard so far today?
Yeah, so I missed a few, but I think for me, for instance, there was a difference between the last two pitches and the easiness to understand for a wider audience. Maybe it's related to the topic, but you know, for the last one, maybe think also about you know, how to engage with a wider audience to make it easier to follow. I got the idea overall, but I'm sure I missed a lot of the key selling points in there. So that's, you know, that's main comment I have.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Luc. Priti, we have seen you logged in for the last 3 days, but we didn't have the chance to hear from you, Priti.
So I think Priti messaged and she said that she had to run off. She just messaged like 5 minutes back, so she heard everything.
All right. Do we have Dr. Dalal actively with us?
Yes, yes. Dr. Dalal is here.
Okay, Dr. Dalal, if you're logged in, we would love to hear from you. If you have any feedbacks from what you have seen today. Apparently not connected, like connected but not around. Alexandre?
Yes, please. Thank you, Munir. Well, in line with what you were saying, if we can say something about to the startups and everything, I like to say and to mention that, sometimes, in this kind of exercise, myself or some of the other panelists, we look maybe a little bit rude, to ask direct questions or to challenge them, to make the devil's advocate. But it's an exercise that, we do for many years, and we forecast and we anticipate the next step, which means that, the first step will be always in the sequences, the presentation, where definitely pitch is nice, people are nice, guests are nice, everything is nice, everything is beautiful. It will barely and rarely happens that you go for a meeting to present your own startup with a teaser, and 99% people will say, oh, it's very nice, it's promising, it's excellent, it's beautiful, it's whatever you want, But then I forecast always the second sequences, which will be now the hard one, when an investor, a potential investor, will be willing now to enter in discussion, now to put his money on the table. And this one is 99% super tough. And this one is super challenging. And this one is super difficult. And people, they push you, they want to tell you, your idea is bad, your concept is not very interesting. And this is every time why, this exercise that Munir and his team are creating, I think it's very good and very positive, because we prefer, and I personally prefer from the beginning, to be very aggressive and to ask question, okay, explain me what your application will be used for, what will be your market, because that's the next step that will happen. Whatever we do, in this conference call and we present the pitch and we find it nice, yes, definitely it's nice, it's wonderful, it's professional and well made. But the next step, either through a group of investors like us and some other like Jean-Luc in this panel, or through third-party investors that we can bring it as a syndicated, the next step will be highly challenging. And especially, for if it's startups like, for example, from the Gulf, people are nowadays reluctant and they say, okay, but why you wanted to put it in the Gulf? Why don't you put it in another country? What's the incentive? What's your registration? Who are the shareholders? So I like really what Munir and his team is doing. And I think, in the next sessions, if it's a one-to-one, we could go more and more further in some more details, if you like, of course.
Excellent, Alex. And have you yourself been confronted to pitching, I presume, in front of investors? And what was your feeling when you first started?
To be straight to the point, Munir, I've been in some meetings, wherever in Saudi, in Switzerland, in New York, or wherever, where it went from a range from very nice people saying, okay, let me think about it, but they were going really in detail. We want to see the cash flow, the forecast cash flow, the burning rate of the money, and blah, blah, blah. Where I've been myself, my experience, I've been myself several times in meetings where a guy is receiving you and says, okay, my boss told us to analyze your file, but for me, I think it's a piece of shit, a waste of time. So, the meeting, the meeting was starting like this. It's a fact. Yeah. I mean, the first mistake I would say that most of the startups and inventors does, and I did the same when I started my first companies before, is that, of course, as far as it's our baby, we think that I spent 1 year on it, my concept is ideal and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you are in front of people who says, I'm not interested at all. And, if you're not prepared for this, it's tough. It's very tough,
So startups have to be strong mentally and deal with the criticism, right? Which is very important.
Exactly, Munir. This is what I would say. I would say to the startups and all the owners and everything, don't be ready. Be ready, of course, for explaining your vision and where it goes and the market study and the market competitors and where it goes. This one is fine. It shows that you are professional and you know your file. But 50%, I would say, be prepared of someone who will say, okay, your things looks nice, but why would buy it? What will be the use for it? I'm not interested in, because that will happen. That will happen at 99% because it's the base, of a transaction. The seller wants to elevate the price and says it's priceless, and the buyer wants to minimize it to say, no, this one worth nothing.
Absolutely, it's a pure negotiation and a mental warfare, you can say.
It's a pure negotiation. And second thing I would say for the companies and startups, really think big time about the valuation, because the valuation and the money request, because this is a discussion that we could have later on a one-to-one if they accept with some companies, but when I see that some companies today, they ask for 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, for sure with this type of money nowadays, even $1 million, the guy will say, okay, show me on the table why I should give you $1 million for 20%. It means your company is valued 5 million. How do you value your company 5 million? Because the worst scenario for startups, it's to happen in front of an investor and go down the road to seduce him. And then the guy says, okay, I put the money, but I take 90% of the company. So then, you're in a big challenge. Even if you say no, fair enough. You end up with your company, but you have no money. You say yes, you are buyout and remain 10% in your pocket, and you lose everything.
Very good point and very, very realistic. Thank you very much, Alexandre.
It's really, Munir, it's really
down to earth.
It happens.
It's down to earth. Yes.
Yeah, it's down to earth. And unfortunately, as I explained again in the two sequences, this is always what's happened. In the bigger layer to the boss and the committee, whatever, it is like you say in French, we say the mondanité. It's how you say in English, mondanité? You, Munir, you speak English better than me.
Mondanité, we can it's a word that you cannot really translate in English, to be honest. It's a show-off game. Yeah?
Well, it's a show-off game in high society discussion. Hello, show me your teaser. Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Very promising. I like it, blah, blah, blah. This one is fine. But then the second sequences is in the room. Usually the people, they start to bring their lawyer or vice president of the company or business developers. And these guys are paid for challenging, Even if you have a marvelous product, they cannot go to... I've been before in the corporate world, even if it's a wonderful file, the guy in front of you cannot say, oh, okay, validate, because if he goes to see his boss and say, boss, I saw the file, everything is perfect. Then the boss says, why I pay you then? You get my point? Even if the file is perfect, the guy in front of you, he have to challenge you, he have at least to find default, at least to go to the boss to say, sir, I assessed the file, we have to take care. It's a game, it's a corporate game, An employee of a company or an investment fund or an individual, he cannot go to see his boss and say everything is perfect, because the boss will say, okay, so why I should pay you? You worth nothing.
Fantastic facts. Fantastic fact, Alexandre. And I really would like to, sorry, but we will get back to this point. But Jean-Luc, if you don't mind giving us some, to the startup, most importantly to the startup, regarding the valuation of the business. Why most of the startups overrate the value of the business? Is it to protect it because it's their business, or is it to try to get as much money as possible from?
I think I think one part of this is that I would say it starts with the literature around this being quite confusing sometimes. There's a lot of valuation methods, and when you're a pre-revenue startup, depending on what you read, you get different types of opinions, and this is where things start to go apart a little bit. And then also people use one of the methods I don't like at all, and this is when you end up with high valuation. And I think we heard it. I'm not going to name anybody, but when you compare yourself to entry valuations of another startup and say, yeah, because these guys were valued at that value, we should be roughly in that range. For me, I don't buy into that. So that that's one thing when you need to be careful with. It shows it helps you to get an idea on the potential, but then investors will start looking at the details, and they have their own methods and tools so basically pre-revenue and post-revenue is very different, and that's where you need to get feedback, you need to get inputs, until you have something, and that's important. The important thing is not the valuation, is can you defend the valuation? So and that's where most of us will struggle.
Excellent. Samar, I'm going to give the mic to you, Samar, since you're already investing in a couple of tech startups here where you are in Pakistan. So what makes you invest? What is the trigger point? What is the decision-making process, the thought process, the final line? And say, okay, we're going to put the money on the table for this guy or for this girl because there is something there.
So before I respond to your question, I just wanted to add to what Alexandre was saying. So you mentioned, you gave feedback about the different pitches. So I would definitely say making it easy, making it simple for people to understand is really, really important. So for instance, with Art Smiley, I liked that in the end he said, oh, we're like the Amazon for the arts world, right? So something to that effect. So that is always helpful to make it as easy as possible for people to understand. The other thing I think that we saw yesterday as well as today, a lot of extra content, a lot of clutter in the slides. You can't go through all of it in 5 minutes or 7 minutes, and you can't expect the audience to read through all of it. And the worst is that you're speaking, but we're actually trying to read your slides, because if you've got it there, then the human tendency is to start reading, right? Sometimes people also end up reading the same exact content that they've got on the slides. So that is also not really, useful. Try to mix it up. So we're actually listening to you because you're the person. Now coming over to what Munir was asking. So for me, a lot of times for us actually as a team, I think the most important aspect of it is the team. So is the team likable? Is the team somebody, is this a group of people that we trust? Whether it's our own money or whether it's the money of other angel investors, is it somebody, is the team capable of being backed, right? Can I actually defend them? Because a lot of times in front of different investors, what Alexandre was saying, you have to actually defend the team. You have to defend the idea. You have to say, yes, I support them, and this is why I support them, or these are the strong points, right? Also, the other piece, sorry, so one more thing, referring back to what other people are saying. When you ask for a lot of money, sometimes you're eliminating a lot of other investors who may be willing to invest in early stage ideas. So always remember that it's, how do you eat an elephant? You can't possibly gobble down the elephant in one go. So you have to eat the elephant bite by bite. So that's very important in investment as well. So try to plan your trajectory. And yesterday we saw with one of the startups, at least, that they had, I need this much to this much, and I've got a plan for less money as well as more money. And this is what I can do. Even if I raise this much, I've got a plan for it. So that also helps, because that way you're actually widening your investment base. And the other piece, which is really important, is when you raise money, the first money that comes in, that brings trust and credibility. And your next money, sometimes it's easier because your investor is actually going to now go and look for other investor friends of his, or back you up. So credibility gets built. On the pitch side, I think it's very important to just imagine, how you've got two angels over here. So just imagine that you've got the angels now saying, so what? So everything that you say, just have this little voice in your head saying, so what? And answer that. So if I'm doing this, so what? This is how the customers benefit. This is the impact. This is how you'll benefit, and so on. So I think for me, it comes down to the team. If the team is coachable, then they can pivot. And at a certain point in time, we just saw in COVID scenario, startups had to pivot massively. So are they capable? Are they agile? Are they listening to advice? So I think what I really like with what Munir is doing is the fact that, this, in a way, it's like, how when you are actually in an incubator, so it is almost like, you're cushioned from the rest of the world, you're also receiving advice, etc. So this is a great soft landing before you're taken to the sharks, right? So, I mean, so in a way, it's like, it's transition phase for you. And all the questions that these guys keep asking is excellent, right? So, and also I see some of the startups who come back for other people's pitches. I think that's great, because when you keep hearing questions popping up, you learn. So.
Absolutely, great point. Thank you very much, Samar. I'm gonna ask a question to Mike. If Mike is not in the middle of his lunch, have you done with your lunch, Mike?
I have. Very tasty.
Okay, Mike. We all know you're an avid investor and a very strategic investor, and you invested in a lot of ventures before and still. My question is, when you invest in a venture, what do you look at? Do you look more at the cost side of things, at the profit side of things? Is it a combination of both?
Well, the very first thing, and this probably leads into what everybody else is saying, but the only thing I'm interested in at the start is, what is your product? What does it do? And literally in a pitch, be it elevator, be pitching here or anything, the first sentence has to be, this is what we do. And not in an abstract way, in a very direct way. So, for example, the face recognition door entry. You know, we have face recognition to open doors, open locks. That's what we do. Don't introduce yourself. Don't say thank you. Don't fluff. Literally, the first words out of your mouth have to be what you're doing. After that, then you've either got me or you haven't. So if what you're doing is compelling, I'll carry on listening. If literally those first words out of your mouth don't tell me that, I've switched off and I'm gone. Going back to, so I'm not going to directly answer your question because I'm going to contribute. In terms of valuation, you can actually calculate that, even for a startup, even for a pre-revenue startup. Everything has a value. If you spend a year of your time on the project, capitalize what would have been your salary. So that year is worth what a typical salary for what you're doing is. If you have a patent, the value of it is the cost that it has taken you to file it. If you've built a software platform, it's cost you money, capitalize that. The other element to a startup is the intangible. So what's the future potential? And all startups, without exceptions, overinflate the intangibles. Intangibles are future. And I'm not investing in the future. I'm hoping there will be a future, but I'm investing what you've got now. I don't really care what your future market is because that's unknown. You don't know. So, 60 to 70% of your company valuation can have a tangible valuation that you can actually calculate and use a calculator or a spreadsheet to work out. The intangible part is more abstract and is a bit subjective and requires is an opinion, but that's not the majority of the valuation of your startup. It is the minor part, the lesser part, less than 50%. So yeah, it is possible to calculate that. In terms of what I'm looking for, I mean, I'm a very different animal in terms of investor. I'm not a professional investor. I didn't start. I don't even know if I can claim to be a founder. I kind of founded a company, but it was inside my family's company. So I'm slightly different. I'm very different in that I don't look for financial returns directly. I expect there to be one because you've got to have a sustainable company. I'm a slightly different beast in that I'm looking to evolve humanity through technology. And so I'm looking to take your technology and expect it's going to evolve humanity to the next form of life, whether that be carbon or silicon or whatever. And if you're not accelerating human evolution or evolution in general, I'm not interested. You've got to have revenue, you've got to make profit because otherwise it's not sustainable, but that's not my primary objective. I'm also different in that I don't look to exit. All other investors do because they're investing for money. They expect a financial return. I expect to see your product, platform, service evolve and build. And I'm only really interested in investing in companies where the founder expects their grandchildren to be working in the business. And it's not to say I'm not looking, if you're looking to sell on to a trade sale, I'm not really very interested. You can IPO, so you can go public, and then that allows you to realize the value that you build up in your business and gives me that option as well. It's not critical, but that's a perfectly valid way of realizing the value in the business. But essentially, I'm interested in people that are building businesses that are looking at the long term, but very rapid accelerating growth to that long term.
Thank you. Is it important for a startup to have a contingency plan? Are you yourself, for example, do you give a second chance to a startup that has failed following an investment that you have done?
So I generally only invest I am very picky in who I invest in, and generally, if you can't pivot a lot of startups forget their startups and think this is our business model. I'm not going to name names, but it's happened here. COVID is the biggest disruption there's ever been. Yeah. And we had a startup that had a pre-COVID business model that was perfect to adapt to the COVID situation, and they didn't. They actually said they were still talking about returning to pre-COVID situation, and they could have pivoted and absolutely captured the market. You've got to remember you're a startup. You've got to remember you are responding to customers. Listen to your customers. I did kind of found a business. I was in the early days of internet data hosting. I kind of started the data center business. I didn't set out to start a data center business. I just wanted internet bandwidth once I'd made it legal. So I just listened to I started commercializing this. I went from designing websites to hosting, because the customers who wanted their websites designed wanted them hosted. Then they wanted to bring in servers. Then they wanted servers, but they didn't want to own them. Then they wanted connection back to. So I invented. I don't mean I originated the data center, but I created a data center model simply by listening to customers, and I evolved to be a data center in the early 90s. And it was listening to, every time you listen to a customer, you say, they're asking for something. Can I do it? Can I do it? Does it make financial sense? If the answer to both those questions, yes, do it. No question, do it. If your customer wants something and you can make money, it's economically viable and you can do it in the early stages. Once you've evolved your business model and it's successful, then you have some more freedom. Then you have options, but just listen to your customers. Don't again, we had a private meeting, you and I, this morning with a founder. The founder wanted to detach themselves from their customers at a very early stage. They wanted to hire a salesman. Don't do that. You as a founder, you're the salesman. You are the person with the vision, and you've got to listen to your customers. You're the salesman, you're the developer, you're the creator, you're everything. And that can be a team. It doesn't have to be an individual, but it has to be a very close-knit team. Do not put barriers between you and the customer in the very, very early stages.
Good comment. Thank you so much, Mike. I can see a big smile on your face, Alexander. Do you want to add something to this?
No, thank you.
No? Okay, great, excellent. So, Samar, what I would suggest is,
It was good. Sorry, no, I was saying, no, I like what was saying, for that reason I was smiling, so.
It was resonating with you, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, well, great. Samar, what we suggest is let's wrap it up earlier than yesterday, and thank everyone for attending today's session. The recording will be available tomorrow,
Yeah, the recording will be available tomorrow, that's true. And the other piece is, look, today Mia and Munir, by accident, we're color-coded.
We're matching.
So just thinking that, maybe tomorrow the theme can be pink. Did we say pink?
I don't have anything. I don't have any pink.
I don't have anything pink either. So I think for the ones who don't have pink, I think we're going with blue. Maybe that's the second favorite color by Mike.
Mike is up for the pink. So let me try something. I can't say no to Mike.
Somebody else, maybe Jean-Luc wants to suggest a color.
I'm sure Jean-Luc has some pink, very nicely
ironed
sure
I have.
pink
Of course.
Jean-Luc and I saw both of them.
I'll take it out of the closet, no problem.
Yeah, it can even be pink, headphones or something, whatever. All right, so thank you very, very much for being so attentive, for being with us today. I think today we had another round of some very, very good pitches, very interesting ideas. We did see storytelling. In certain places, we saw a lot of storytelling.
Correct.
So maybe in certain places, just pick the best story, right? Otherwise, you don't have enough time to actually tell us what we do want to hear as well. But best of luck. I hope that today as well, we're going to be able to nail some more matches. And of course, Munir will tell us tomorrow.
Yes.
So with this, we're going to sign off and see you guys tomorrow.
And
yes, please, with pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And I want to add something. So a lot of investors were not able to connect. So I just want to make a point that all the videos and the pitches will be circulating to even the investors that did not attend. Some of them requested all the pitches to be, to be shared with them, and we'll take the conversation further. So don't worry about it, guys.
So
Mahdi
Mahdi is saying, thank you, very nice guides today. So considering Mahdi is presenting tomorrow,
yes,
we hope
definitely.
to see all of this implemented. Okay, Mahdi, we just
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, advisors, investors, startups, Samar.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.